The Malays are spiritually inclined, tolerant, and easygoing. The non-Malays, and especially the Chinese, are materialistic, aggressive, and have an appetite for work. For equality to come about, it is necessary that these strikingly contrasting races adjust to each other. I'm not materialistic. I love clothes and all that stuff, but I don't need it to live. To this day, I am the least materialistic person I know, because my father didn't raise me to just go out and buy this or that car. The only reason I wanted to make money as an actor was because I'm passionate about food. True Americanism is practical idealism. Its aims, instead of being materialistic and mechanical, are idealistic to the point of being utopian. In this way, the U.S. can provide and express ideals that strike a chord in humans everywhere, a declaration of independence on behalf of all the peoples of the world. All man's failures are either because of the religious denial of man's biological needs or the materialistic denial of man's spiritual desires. But as an adult working in the fashion industry, I struggle with materialism, and I'm one of the least materialistic people that exist, because material possessions don't mean much to me. They're beautiful, I enjoy them, they can enhance your life to a certain degree, but they're ultimately not important. You know when you eat too many sweets and get diabetes? Paparazzi are the diabetes of materialistic culture. I'm not against people buying clothes. I think clothes are wonderful, and I'm very materialistic myself, but there's a way of finding a compromise. I just think we can buy less and pay more, to make sure people aren't being exploited. The new artists coming through were very materialistic, and Hollywood, not so engaged in communication. Station to Station came out of a sense of urgency, a sense that culture, be it art, film or architecture, has become so compartmentalized. For this project, we wanted to break that and create a language that is more nomadic and less materialistic and really empowering for the creators and the audience. According to materialistic science, any memory requires a material substrate, such as the neuronal network in the brain or the DNA molecules of the genes. The adornment of the body is a human need. I don't see anything superficial about it unless your life becomes very materialistic. Americans are uneasy with their possessions, guilty about power, all of which is difficult for Europeans to perceive because they are themselves so truly materialistic, so versed in the uses of power. I'm not that materialistic. I like nice clothes and that, but I don't spend lots of money on stuff. I'm not really into TV, I don't have an iPod, I've got a gramophone. If I'm a lush at anything, it's food and drink. I'm not materialistic in any way, but I value food. The last time I saw my mom was in 1997. My mom started getting sick, and my mom finally passed away in 2002. My mom was my world. My mom was everything to me. We didn't have money. We didn't have a whole lot of materialistic things, but one thing I can truly say, that my mother loved me and all of her children unconditionally. On the mathematical side, you could in principle build a society in which people were fulfilling their needs and flourishing as human beings in a higher way than in a consumer society, provided you had the right investments in the opportunity to flourish in less materialistic ways. I'm a Taurian, so I'm very passionate and determined and materialistic. Down the years, I've spent a lot of money and saved a bit of money and had a lot of fun. I'm not a materialistic person at all, but I always want the next thing. I've got a nice toolbox, but I still want another set of spanners. Linux has definitely made a lot of sense even in a purely materialistic sense. There must be a world revolution which puts an end to all materialistic conditions hindering woman from performing her natural role in life and driving her to carry out man's duties in order to be equal in rights. I'm just disillusioned with the hip-hop sound right now. It's too materialistic. You know, I'm the kind of guy. I can't do that. If you track my movement, you'll never see a picture of me with any girl that wasn't mine, or my own car, my jewelry, my clothes. What kind of gangsta rapper has a stylist? A stylist? Talking about a materialistic thing, I get about 13 times more royalties from Europe than I do from America. The great question of our time is, will we be motivated by materialistic philosophy or by spiritual power? The materialistic point of view in psychology can claim, at best, only the value of an heuristic hypothesis. My heart is in helping people and in the less materialistic side of things, but there's the side of me that's more polished. Man is the result of a purposeless and materialistic process that did not have him in mind. He was not planned. There was a time in my life when I thought I had everything, millions of dollars, mansions, cars, nice clothes, beautiful women, and every other materialistic thing you can imagine. Now I struggle for peace. In essence, the Thai people are not materialistic at all. They're not in the least driven by the kind of ambition that drives us. The more I got to know them, and the more time I spent with them, the more I understood that this was a totally legitimate attitude to life, and why not? As human beings, we're very materialistic and have all this stuff, furs and cars and diamonds and money. I take things like honor and loyalty seriously. It's more important to me than any materialistic thing or any fame I could have. When we analyze this war in a materialistic way and ask when is it going to end and who will be the winner and the loser, it means that we do not see the endgame. Miami is nothing like me, and that's why I need to be here. It's the opposite. I'm practical. Where this place is moody, I'm stolid in my interior. Where this place has a certain flair. And I'm materialistic in a sense that this place is fundamentally spiritual. There's a quicksilver quality about this place. Our socialism does not include extreme materialistic concepts, since Indonesia is primarily a God-fearing, God-loving nation. Our socialism is a mixture. We draw political equality from the American Declaration of Independence. We draw spiritual equality from Islam and Christianity. We draw scientific equality from Marx. I don't want to be too strict, because I think kids can get rebellious. But I want to raise my daughter to be passionate about doing good things and pursuing real things and hobbies instead of frivolous materialistic stuff. American culture is probably the least Christian culture that we've ever had because it is so materialistic and it's so full of lies. The whole advertising world is it's just intertwined with lies, appealing to the worst of the instincts we have. I'm not materialistic. I believe in presents from the heart, like a drawing that a child does. Sometimes you're not blessed with the materialistic stuff but you're blessed with a work ethic. Fashion isn't me, even though I work in it. It's just materialistic stuff. Research challenges the materialistic understanding of death, according to which biological death represents the final end of existence and of all conscious activity. There's a destiny for everybody. The world is set up, as foreign as that can be to some people who are very materialistic, but there is a force in this world, once we step into it, that opens doors for us. That gives us a sense of purpose and the greatest life there is, in my view. The so-called materialistic conception of history, with the crude elements of genius of the early form which appeared, for instance, in the Communist Manifesto, still prevails only in the minds of laymen and dilettantes. Anything you cannot relinquish when it has outlived its usefulness possesses you, and in this materialistic age a great many of us are possessed by our possessions. I had a fairly enlightened dad, though if you looked at his resume, it might not seem that way. He was a chartered accountant for Price Waterhouse. He was strict, and we had a very ordered life. To this day, I am the least materialistic person I know, because my father didn't raise me to just go out and buy this or that car. The prospect of being immortal doesn't excite me, but the prospect of being a materialistic idol for 4 years does appeal. When an American heiress wants to buy a man, she at once crosses the Atlantic. The only really materialistic people I have ever met have been Europeans. The standard entertainment industry reaction to Hollywood's box office slump reveals the same shallow, materialistic mindset that helped create the problem in the first place. One of the experts bought his first piece at the age of 4, so they did start very young, most of them. They did it out of genuine interest, but today's kids are much more materialistic and there's a danger, I suppose, that they might just be out to make dosh. I'm not a materialistic person. I would say I don't like people who are really into themselves or are very materialistic. Just always talking themselves up. Not being real is the pet peeve. Be true to yourself. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.